So in today's class we are going to learn about the chromatic aberration. So in last class we learned about the spherical aberration and how the spherical aberration is formed, and later we understood the ray diagram for the spherical aberration, and we learned what is circle of least confusion, what is longitudinal spherical aberration, and what is lateral spherical aberration. And then finally we learned what are the methods that are possible to eliminate the spherical aberration in a given lens. So there are basically 5 methods, which we have discussed in our last class. So these 5 methods are used to eliminate the spherical aberration in a given lens. So in today's class we are going to learn about the chromatic aberration. So chromatic aberration means if you send a polychromatic light or a white light on the lens, then this lens will focus the light of different wavelength in different points. So for example, if you take a white light which is coming from the sun, so this white light has 7 different colors. So all these 7 different colors will be focused at different points on the principal axis due to the variation in the refractive index of the lens. So that is known as a chromatic aberration. So let's suppose you have a convex lens, thin convex lens, and this is a principal axis that is passing through the center of the lens. So here is an object AB. So from this object there is a white light which is coming. So this white light will get incident on the lens surface, and what will happen, this light ray will obviously get refracted from the lens. But in our last section we saw that if you send one incident ray, there will be only one refracted ray. But later we saw spherical aberration where the marginal rays will have a focus at different points and the paraxial rays will have a focus at different points. But here in this case, this one ray of light, that is white colored light, will get splitted into different rays. So these rays will have different wavelengths. So let's suppose the first ray will cross the principal axis at this point, and the second ray, so the second ray will get refracted from the lens and crosses the principal axis at this point. Now if you join this point or this ray, then you get an image, and here there is again an intersection of rays. So again you will get another image. So let's suppose this B, so this is B prime, A prime, and this is B double prime and A double prime. So there is another ray which is passing from the center of lens, and this ray cuts both the rays at a particular point. So now here you can see the second ray has got a focus point in a different point, and the first ray has got a focal point at a different point on the principal axis. Now if you observe, the image formed from the two rays has different size and they are at a different position. So A prime, B prime is smaller than A double prime and B double prime. Now this distance or this change in the position of the image due to the refraction, this distance is known as axial chromatic aberration. and this is also called as longitudinal chromatic aberration. So what is longitudinal or axial chromatic aberration? So that is the variation of the image position along the axis. So let me write. Image position along the axis is called longitudinal chromatic aberration. So this is what the longitudinal chromatic aberration is. So this is just a variation in the position of the image. So here you have one object, you should get one image, but for the chromatic aberration you are getting the two different images, and the variation in the position of the two different images is known as a longitudinal chromatic aberration. So this is the first point that you have to understand. And the second is, so if you see here, so from here to here, so this image is smaller than this image, and the variation in the image size due to change in refractive index is called lateral chromatic aberration. So this Y is called lateral chromatic aberration. So what is lateral chromatic aberration? The variation in image size due to change in refractive index is called lateral chromatic aberration. So we saw what is longitudinal chromatic aberration and the lateral chromatic aberration. So lateral chromatic aberration will give the change in the size of the image, and the longitudinal chromatic aberration will give the change in the position of the images on the axis. So these are the 2 points that you have to remember in the chromatic aberration. So now let us draw the actual diagram and find what will be the chromatic aberration. So let us have the convex lens again. So here we have the convex lens or the thin convex lens. Now there is a principal axis which passes from the center of the lens L. So now what I said, in chromatic aberration we will use the polychromatic light or a white light. So let us incident a white ray on the lens. So this is the white ray. So here is the axis of the lens. Now there's another ray which is coming from this point. So this is the center of the lens. So you have the white rays which are coming from the infinitive. So white rays will have the different colors or different wavelengths in it. So when this light ray passes through the lens, so the different colors that has in this ray will get refracted at different focal points. So we have basically 7 colors. So in this diagram, let us denote only 2 colors, violet and red. So the first is violet color. So this violet color light has less wavelength compared to red color light. So this violet ray will get refracted and forms an image at a different point. So this is the refraction of the violet ray from the white light. So this is for violet ray. So now there is another light, that is red light. So this red light will have the larger wavelength, and this gets refracted at a different position or at a far distance from the lens. So let this be FV and this be FR. So FR denotes the focal point for the red ray and FV denotes the focal point for the violet ray. So you have basically two focal points in a chromatic aberration. So now if you see, these 2 points are not coinciding, that means you have the longitudinal chromatic aberration. So now there is a intersection of these two rays. So these two intersection will form the circle of least confusion. So this will have the smaller radius that is possible. So this is A, B. So the intersection of this plane with a beam is a circle of minimum radius. So this will have the minimum radius, and this circle is called circle of least confusion. So this here is called the circle of least confusion because this will have the circle structure. So hence it is known as circle of least confusion. So at this point there appears an image is formed. So now this is true for light rays which are coming from a infinite distance, or a object or a point object which is at a finite distance. So this defect in a lens due to variation in the refractive index with the color is called chromatic aberration. So what is chromatic aberration? So that is a defect in a lens that occurs due to variation in refractive index with color. So what is happening here? The refractive index is varying with the color of the light that we are sending on the lens. So that all will give you the chromatic aberration. So the defect in a lens due to variation in a refractive index with color is called chromatic aberration. So let us see what will be the dispersive power of this material. So as I said, the refractive index of the material of a lens is different for different colors of light or for different wavelengths of light. So hence the focal length of a lens is different for different colors. So we saw violet has different focal point and red color has different focal points. So now from the lens maker's formula, the focal length of a lens can be written as 1 by f is equals to n minus 1 by r1 plus 1 by r2. So this we are writing from the lens maker's formula. So here f is focal length of lens and n is refractive index, r1 and r2 are the radius of curvature. So this is what the focal length of the lens is. So from the diagram we can say that NV is greater than NR. The refractive index for the violet ray is greater than the refractive index for the red ray. So from that, 1 by FV is greater than 1 by FR. So if you take cross multiplication, FR will be greater than FV. So that is, focal point for the red ray will be greater than the focal point for the violet ray. So this we already observed in the diagram. So a parallel beam of white light is incident on a convex lens. So different colors will be brought to focus at different distance from the lens. So violet colored rays are focused closer to the lens, and then the red rays are focused far from the lens. So the difference in FR and FV will give the longitudinal chromatic aberration. So that I have already said in the above diagram. So this difference will give the longitudinal chromatic aberration. So if I write FR minus FV is equals to X. So X here is what? It is the measure of longitudinal chromatic aberration. So FR minus FV will give you. So what is the longitudinal chromatic aberration? So now the FR minus FV can be written as omega F. FR minus FV can be written as omega F. So now what will be omega? Omega will be FR minus FV divided by F. So what is omega then? Omega is the dispersive power of a material. Omega is equals to FR minus FV divided by F. So here F is the focal length of a lens for mean ray. So mean ray will be formed in between the FR and FV. So that will be for yellow light. So now if we take DF as a difference of focal length, so FR minus FV is equals to DF. So DF is what? It is just a difference in focal lengths of two colors. So if you have two different colors, like say for example here we have chosen red and violet ray. So you can also choose the different colors and you can write the omega. So now omega will be what? DF by F. So this F or the mean focal length will be approximately equal to geometric mean of focal lengths for two colors. So F will be equals to root over FV multiplied by FR. So this is the geometric mean of the focal length of two colors. So this is what the chromatic aberration is. So in this chromatic aberration we found what will be the dispersive power of a material. So that we denoted as omega, and here FR is the focal length for the red ray, and FV is the focal length for the violet ray, and F is the mean focal length for a lens. So in a diagram, if you want to denote what is FV, so FV will be this. So this distance from L to FV is FV, and here from here to this point FR will give you the focal length for the red ray. So this is what the chromatic aberration is. So chromatic aberration means that is again a defect in a lens due to variation of refractive index with color. So the refractive index here varies with the color of a light that we are giving on the lens. So here we have used the white light. So white light will have 7 different colors in that. So in that we took red and violet rays to understand what is chromatic aberration. And then we learned what is lateral chromatic aberration and what is longitudinal chromatic aberration. So now let us learn what is a chromatic lenses. So achromatic lenses is nothing but here we take the combination of different lenses just to eliminate the chromatic aberration. So chromatic aberration can be eliminated with the help of achromatic lenses. So a combination of 2 or more lenses of different materials can minimize the chromatic aberration that is formed by the lens. So such combination of 2 lenses is called an achromatic combination. So what is a chromatic combination? It is a combination of two or more lenses of different material. So here we are using different materials to form the achromatic combination. So we cannot use the lenses of same material. So here he is clearly saying that we should use the different material for elimination of the chromatic aberration. A combination of 2 or more lenses of different material is used to eliminate chromatic aberration. And such a combination of 2 lenses is called achromatic combination. So what is achromatic combination? Here you are using the combination of 2 lenses, and this combination will minimize the achromatic aberration that we have already learned. So to eliminate chromatic aberration, what we have to do? So like if the violet rays and the red rays fall at a single point, then you can eliminate the chromatic aberration. So there will be no longitudinal chromatic aberration and lateral chromatic aberration if both the rays, that is violet rays and the red rays, meet at a single point. So that case can be said as the no chromatic aberration, or that eliminate the chromatic aberration. So now in the last diagram you have observed that for convex lens, violet rays come to focus at a point near the lens, and for concave lens, red rays come to focus near the lens. So what is happening for convex lens? So violet rays forms the focus point near to lens. and for concave lens, red rays meet near the lens. So can you see the difference? Now from the diagram, if you observe here which lens we have used the convex lens. So for this lens, the red rays meet at a point which is far from the lens, whereas violet rays meet near the lens. So FV is near to L and FR is far from the L. So this FR is far from the L in comparison to FV. So here you are comparing FR with FV. And now instead of this convex lens, if you use the concave lens, then what will happen is this FR will be near to the lens and FV will be far from the lens. So that is what I have written. So for convex lens, violet rays meet near the lens, and for concave lens, red rays meet near the lens. So now if you use the combination of convex lens and a concave lens, so there will be the possibility of the formation of image at a particular point. So here you will not find two different focal points. So the combination of convex lens of short focal length and concave lens of longer focal length gives image at the same point with the same size. So here you are basically eliminating the longitudinal chromatic aberration and the lateral chromatic aberration. So the same point refers to the longitudinal chromatic aberration. So if you find the image at different position on the axis, then that gives the longitudinal chromatic aberration. Now what is happening? So if you use the combination of convex lens and the concave lens, so this convex lens has a short focal length and the concave lens has a longer focal length. So this combination will give image at the same point. So that means it has eliminated the longitudinal chromatic aberration, and this image has the same size. So that means lateral chromatic aberration is also got eliminated. So from this achromatic lens we can basically eliminate, or at least we can minimize the chromatic aberration. So that is the chromatic lens. So in achromatic lenses we'll use the combination of two different lenses which are made up of two different materials. So the material which is made for the first lens will not be used for the second lens. So here you have the two different lenses, and these two different lenses are made up of two different materials. So then itself you can minimize the chromatic aberration. So that is the achromatic combination, and this method can minimize the chromatic aberration. So now let us learn what are the conditions for achromatism of two lenses placed in contact. So let us learn what are the conditions that achromatic lenses should have when they are kept in contact. So in achromatic lenses, what we will have? We will have the two different lenses. Let's suppose the convex lens and a concave lens. So here you have the convex lens, and the convex lens will have the short focal length, and there is a concave lens which is in contact with the convex lens. So to show that this concave lens is made of different material, I am drawing the lines on the surface of the convex. This is concave lens. So this concave lens is made up of different material in compared to the concave lens. So let us draw the principal axis that passes through the center of both the lenses. Now this lens is made up of a material that is flint glass. So the concave lens is made up of flint glass, whereas the convex lens is made up of crown glass. So these are just two different materials from which these two lenses are made up of. So the convex lens is made up of crown glass and the concave lens is made up of flint glass. So this is concave lens and this is convex lens. So now if you have two different materials, then the refractive index will also be different. So let the refractive index for the convex lens be n and the refractive index for the concave lens be n prime. So n is the refractive index for the convex lens and n prime is the refractive index for the concave lens. So here you will have the refractive index for red ray as well as violet ray. So nr prime is the refractive index of a red ray in concave lens and nv prime is the refractive index of the violet ray in concave lens. So similarly you will have NV and NR for convex lens also, and FV, FR and F be the focal length of violet, red and mean rays for a convex lens, and whereas here you have FV prime, FR prime and F prime. So you are having the prime for convex lens and so this FV prime, FR prime and F prime for concave lens. So these are not for convex lens. So you have three different focal lengths. So that is for violet ray, red ray and for a mean ray. So they are denoted by FV, FR and F. So omega prime be the dispersive power for concave lens and omega be the dispersive power for convex lens. Hope this all is clear to you. So here what we have done is we have taken two different lenses, that is convex lens and a concave lens. So these two lenses are made up of different material. So that is concave lens is made up of flint glass material and convex lens is made up of crown glass material. So because of this variation in the material of which the lenses are made, so there will be the variation in the refractive index. So n is the refractive index for convex lens and n prime is the refractive index for concave lens. And focal length will also be different. So f is the focal length for a mean ray in convex lens and f prime is the focal length of a mean ray in concave lens. So by using the lens maker's formula, let us write what will be the focal length for the violet color and what will be the focal length for the red color and what will be the focal length for the mean ray. So 1 divided by Fv is equals to n minus 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So this is the focal length of violet ray. Or this is the focal length of violet color. So for violet color we are writing 1 by Fv is equals to Nv minus 1, which is multiplied by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So here R1, R2 are the radius of curvature for the lens. Nv is the refractive index and Fv is the focal length. Now focal length for mean ray. So for mean ray, we can directly write 1 by f is equals to n minus 1, 1 by r1 plus 1 by r2. So this expression is for the focal length for mean ray. So from this you can write what is 1 by r1 plus 1 by r2. So 1 by r1 plus 1 by r2 will be equals to 1 divided by f into n minus 1. So let this equation be equation number 1 and this be equation number 2. So now if you see the equation 1 contains 1 by r1 plus 1 by r2 term. So this term can be replaced with 1 by f n minus 1. So from equation 1 and 2, we can write 1 by Fv is equals to Nv minus 1 and that is multiplied by 1 by f n minus 1. So this can also be written as 1 by Fv is equals to 1 by f Nv minus 1 divided by n minus 1. So this is for the violet ray. Let this be equation number 3. So similarly you can write for red ray also. For red ray, the focal length will be 1 by Fr, that is equals to Nr minus 1 divided by R1 plus 1 divided by R2. So let this be equation number 4. So from equation 4 and equation 2 we can write, from equation 4 and 2 we can write 1 divided by Fr is equals to Nr minus 1 multiplied by 1 by f n minus 1. So that can also be written as 1 by Fr is equals to 1 by f and r minus 1 divided by n minus 1. So this is the equation for the red ray. So let us call this as equation number 5. So you got the focal length of red ray in terms of mean ray and the focal length for violet ray in terms of mean ray. So you got 1 by Fv and 1 by Fr. So similarly for second lens, that is concave lens, you can write what will be 1 by Fv prime and 1 by Fr prime. So let us write them directly. 1 divided by Fv prime will be equals to Nv prime minus 1 divided by N prime minus 1. So thus 1 by f here. And for 1 by f r prime, you have 1 by f, that is multiplied by n r prime minus 1 divided by n prime minus 1. So let this be equation number 6 and this be equation number 7. So what you have done here, so we have written the focal length for the first lens and the second lens. So in first lens we wrote the focal length for a violet ray and a red ray, and for second lens also we wrote the focal length for a violet ray and a red ray. So here we are using prime just to denote this terms are for the second lens, that is for concave lens. So now let us find what will be the focal length for the combination of doublet for violet and the red rays. So FV, capital FV and capital FR are the focal lengths of the combination of doublet for violet and for red rays. So FV can be written as 1 by FV, that is equals to 1 by FV plus 1 by FV prime. So this is just an addition of 1 by FV plus 1 by FV prime. So this you can write. So 1 by FV is what? 1 by F NV minus 1 divided by N minus 1 plus 1 by F NV prime minus 1 divided by N minus 1. N prime minus 1. So thus I wrote from the equations that we have already done for 1 by FV and 1 by FV prime. So similarly let us write for 1 by FR. 1 by FR will be equals to 1 by FR plus 1 divided by F prime R. So what is 1 by FR? So that is 1 by F and R minus 1 divided by N minus 1 plus 1 by F and R prime minus 1 divided by N prime minus 1. So this is for 1 by FR. So you got what is 1 by F and 1 by FV and what is 1 by FR. So for a chromatic combination of two lenses, the image will be formed at a same point. So that means FV should be equals to FR, or in our case it is 1 by FV should be equals to 1 by FR. Now substitute all the values that we wrote for FV and 1 by FR. So 1 by FV and 1 by FR. So 1 by FV is NV minus 1 F N minus 1 plus NV prime minus 1 F prime N prime minus 1. So here I missed writing prime. So for second lens we will have the prime for mean ray. So here again there is a prime and there is a prime here. So that means we can write NV prime minus 1 divided by F prime N prime minus 1, that is equals to NR minus 1 divided by N minus 1 F plus NR prime minus 1 divided by N prime minus 1, which is multiplied by F prime. So now if you see, this term here is similar to this term and this term here is similar to this term. So let us separate NV minus 1 divided by F into N minus 1 minus NR minus 1 divided by N minus 1 F. So this is equals to NR prime minus 1 divided by N prime minus 1 F prime minus NV prime minus 1 divided by F prime N prime minus 1. So the denominator has the same values, so that means you can write NV minus 1 minus nr plus 1 divided by f n minus 1, that is equals to nr prime minus 1 minus nv prime plus 1 divided by f prime n minus 1. So minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 will get cancelled. What will be left is nv minus nr divided by f n minus 1, which is equals to nr prime minus nv prime, that is divided by f prime multiplied by n prime minus 1. So if you take this term to this side, so that will become minus nr prime minus nv prime divided by f multiplied by n minus 1. So if you take this minus to this term, then what will happen? So this minus nv will get positive value, so that means nv prime minus nr prime. So let me write nv minus nr divided by f n minus 1 plus nv prime minus nr prime divided by f n prime minus 1. So this will be equals to 0. So now here, so this whole term nv minus nr divided by n minus 1 can be denoted as omega, and nv prime minus nr prime divided by n prime minus 1 can be denoted as omega prime. So that is dispersive power for convex lens and dispersive power for concave lens. So this equation can be written as omega by f plus omega prime by f prime, which is equals to 0. So whereas omega is the dispersive power of convex lens and omega prime is the dispersive power of concave lens. So from the equation, omega will be what? Omega is equals to nv minus nr divided by n minus 1. So this gives the dispersive power of convex lens, and omega prime is equals to nv prime minus nr prime divided by n prime minus 1 is the dispersive power of concave lens. So now from this equation you can write omega by f will be equals to minus omega prime by f prime, and f prime will be equals to minus f omega prime divided by omega. So f prime will be equals to minus f omega prime by omega. So in concave lens, so focal length of mean ray will be equals to focal length of mean ray in convex lens, and that is multiplied by the dispersive power of the concave lens divided by convex lens. And the power, dispersive power, omega and omega prime are positive quantities. So if this f is negative, then this f prime will be what? This will be positive. So if f is positive, then f prime will be negative. So now if the crown glass is made up of if convex lens is made up of crown glass and the concave lens is made up of flint glass, then you will have f prime as the positive value. Now omega prime divided by omega is equals to minus f prime by f. So this is just the ratio of the dispersive power for two different lenses which has got two different focal lengths. So this is what all about the chromatic aberration. So we understood what is chromatic aberration and achromatic lenses, and then we understood what is the condition for achromatism of two lenses placed in contact. So we understood the derivation for condition for achromatism of two lenses placed in contact.